spin.
Where did you dig up that old fossil?
Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
That's no move.
We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to the Star Wars Nerds Podcast. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
And Kenton, I have a treat for me today. I can't give it to you because you're not in the same room as me, unfortunately. But I have this. I should have told you this ahead of time because then you could have gotten one, but I just got it last night. It's a Star Wars themed beer that I have. I picked this up at my local vendor. You know how you go, like these days, you go to a beer store or a liquor store and they have just a huge selection of craft beers. It's like the newest thing, right? So there's a million different types of craft beer. Well, of course, there's going to be a Star Wars themed one, although I don't think this is officially licensed by Lucasfilm.
Definitely isn't.
I suspect you say, why do you say definitely? Is it because of the type?
All of it appears to be a homemade production, including probably the booze inside it.
Well, they look like, now the font on the first, so it's called the Rauch, R-A-U-C-H. Rauch? Is that a type of beer?
Mm-hmm.
Is strong with this one. That's what it's called, and that's supposed to be in the crawl font. I'll put a photo of this on Instagram so people can see. And then the other font is what is kind of more traditionally known as the Star Wars font, which is what we use for our Star Wars Nerds logo and that kind of stuff. And then I got to read from the back of this. I'm going to try it out, and I'll let you know how it is. So this is and this is from Devil May Care Brewing Company. I don't know where they're based out of. Canadian though. So this says on the back, keep cold, drink fresh. A long time ago at a beer festival far, far away. Oh, they made a mistake. So it says at a beer festival far away, only one far. Two young Padawan brewers blended the best qualities from two German styles that haven't been seen in a very long time, hoping that others would join the cause. They combined the darkness of Schwarz beer with the smoke of Rauch beer and made it their brew strong enough to warm the coldest Hoth night. Judge this not by its size, should you. While in a small package, it packs an imperial punch. Smoky, toasty, and malty, this beverage is not for just any scruffy-looking nerf herder. If a light lager is what you seek, this is not the beer you're looking for. Are you ready to give yourself to the dark side? Good. Let the smoke flow through you. That's it.
Oh boy, there's 5 or 6 copyright infringements in that copy, I noticed. And the look of the can is one of them for sure. And it's just enough off about it to pretty much guarantee that nobody from Lucasfilm has ever seen this beverage, and I hope we'll never see it.
Well, I mean, if anybody from Lucasfilm listens to this podcast, then they know. But in any case, they don't care about a small beer company in Canada. This is local. This is not. Whoa! Did I shake this?
Oh, you opened it.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to drink it now.
Let's try it out. I got to try it out. It's dark. Oh man.
Oh, did you mean to open it? I thought you did by mistake.
No, I want to open it.
I thought you did by mistake, and then you were going to be forced to chug it.
I'm not going to chug it. I'm going to drink it slowly.
Chug it, Dan. Chug it. I'll tell everyone that you're chugging it.
That's a good looking head on there. Hey, that's not bad. Not a bad pour.
What do you mean, on that baby Yoda behind you?
That's right.
Oh, Dan's drinking the beverage, and he is not smiling. Oh, no, he is smiling.
No, it's good. That's not bad at all. That's not bad. It's got a good taste. It is all that stuff they talked about. And the crazy thing is it's 9%. This is a 9% beer.
Oh my God.
This is silly. So I could drink this and be drunk by the end of this podcast. For sure.
That is your average alcohol content for a Canadian beer. I noticed. Have you noticed it's been going up?
Yes.
I buy the Unibrew stuff, and with Unibrew, it's gotten to the point where I look at the thing and I'm like, what? This one's only 9? Like there's some of them are just like, they will just knock your head in. Like there's one that's 10.5. There's been a couple that have been 10.5, and that's when the beer starts to taste like rubbing alcohol a little bit. So what do you think? What Star Wars character does that beer taste like?
It does taste kind of like the Emperor. It's dark. I don't know. What else is that? Or Darth Vader, I guess, would be another one. But it is definitely the dark side. I'm sure they would have like a light side beer with it would be like a pale ale or an amber ale or something. They should do that. Or maybe they did already. I don't know.
They should call it Palpatine Turpentine. Because that's what it looks like to me. It looks like something that you might be able to fix something with. But you pour it on something and then it's fixed. or you pour it into a gas tank, maybe.
Oh, maybe I'll try that. Maybe this will fuel your speeder as you go into Tashi Station.
Remember the Spice Girls from the Clone War cartoon?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's what they were carrying.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff, the specialty spices required to make the beer that you're consuming.
But that is interesting that they can just go ahead and make a Star Wars themed beer and not have to pay any kind of licensing fees to Star Wars. Like there is actually no Star Wars logo on this, and there's no mention of the words Star or Wars. It is, and there's no
copyright Lucasfilm.
Oh, this is nothing. This isn't Winnipeg. This is a Torque. I didn't know that. That's a Torque brand.
Well, that's Winnipeg, isn't it?
Torque? It is. Yeah, I didn't know. It says Devil May Care, but it's like a sub brand of the Torque Brewing. Wickedly brewed by Devil May Care Brewing Company on King Edward Street. Interesting.
Well, I mean, in theory, my guess is if you ask them, they'd go, well, that's a rich parody and that is covered by copyright law. But when I see the actual design of that can, because I know that if you get too close with your parody to the actual thing, you can still run afoul. Like saying it's a parody doesn't solve a lot. Although, and I guess the judge would decide how close it has to get. But
Vanilla Ice got away with Ice Ice Baby, right?
Well, but then had to pay. I think the only reason. Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought they found it. They thought it was just different enough from Under Pressure that he didn't have to pay. I thought that. That's what. But maybe I was wrong.
Oh well, I might be wrong, but I thought the Queen gets paid, and that's why they're okay with it.
Okay, well, maybe they do.
Usually when an artist gets paid, they suddenly become okay with whatever the thing was. And I think Tom Petty was the same when that Red Hot Chili Peppers song came out. It sounded like Last Dance with Mary Jane.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. I remember the Tom Petty song. I don't remember the Chili Peppers song. Yeah. And I think I think Tom Petty complained about it until they shut his mouth with a big wad of cash. I think that's what happened.
Right. It kind of smells like an ashtray a little bit.
That
kind of
really?
smells like cigarette smoke.
That's it, really? It's smoky?
Well, they said it was smoky, right? I didn't realize it was that kind of smoke, but I kind of feel like I'm in a bar right now. I feel like I smell like I'm in a bar. The old bar, what a bar used to smell like back in the day. Anyway,
there are people. Are they smoking in the cantina in Star Wars? Or are they vaping?
Well,
because the guy's got the long.
It looks like cigarette. A hookah. It looks like a hookah, right?
Yeah.
More like that. We should. Yeah, that's a good question. Do they smoke in the Star Wars universe? Does big tobacco exist in Star Wars?
And the guy was selling death sticks.
Yep.
Elan Sleazebaganano or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever that dude's name was. So smoking does exist, I think, in the Star Wars universe. But the other question is, what do your clothes smell like the next morning when you've been to the cantina? And my guess is that beer that you're drinking. That's probably what they
probably
smell
right.
Like.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember that? Right. You remember going to the bar back in the day?
Yeah.
And it was so smoky. I remember one time I woke up in the middle of the night and I went, I think my apartment's on fire. I thought my apartment was on fire. I was like, oh my God. And I looked and it was just my pile of smoky clothes on the floor.
Yeah.
So it was like it smelled like a bonfire. They smelled so smoky.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling Star Wars smells like that.
That's right. Moss obviously does anyway.
Yes.
Okay. Let's get into some Star Wars clickbait.
What? How? Talking about? Huh? What? Goodness gracious me.
There's a new style of clickbait coming out. I've noticed in the last few weeks, and this case. So I'll just read this. The headline is Star Wars, Mads Mikkelsen looks spectacular as Thrawn in new image. Now the clickbait part of that was what? Mads Mikkelsen is going to play Thrawn? That's kind of what they're trying to make people think.
Yes.
But that's not it. Just some artist on Instagram drew Thrawn as Mads Mikkelsen or Mads Mikkelsen as Thrawn. Both, either way. It's just an image, just an artist somewhere who just did this. That's it. That's
painted
what this
his
is.
face blue.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I guess that's based on the fact that his brother Lars is the actual Thrawn in the cartoon in Rebels. But this is quite interesting. So the images of Thrawn, it's an image of, they added a little bit to his head to make him look a little more alien. But basically, it's Mads Mikkelsen blue, and they photoshopped a uniform on him. They took the image of like Thrawn from like one of the books. They kind of subbed out Mads Mikkelsen's face. But I've definitely seen more than one article like this where they're saying, here's an actor as this part. We're gonna just an artist, deciding that this would be cool to do, and then they take this and make it seem like it's happening. Right?
You know, that the headline could also say, Mads Mikkelsen looks absolutely incredible as a member of the Blue Man Group. It just would get less clicks.
Right. And he has hair though. The Blue Man Group is bald, I believe, right?
Well, you'd Photoshop it out. It would look pristine, and all the Blue Man Group people would be like, "Finally, we got a famous actor."
That's right.
What is he? The guy that plays the drums? Is he the guy that I don't know? Is he the weird guy
that plays the tubes? They play tubes, right?
Is he the guy that encases his head in Jello? Which guy is he? There'd be a lot of unanswered questions, and they'd all click on it, and then it would just be him as Thrawn, and they'd be like, "What? No, this is not what we want. We want Blue Man Group news." Yeah, how did this get into my Flipboard feed?
Now, here's the other problem with this, of course, is that Mads Mikkelsen is already in the Star Wars universe. He plays Galen Erso in Rogue One, and he generally don't have a same actor play another character. This is something that I definitely heard it said for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like once you're cast as something in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they're not gonna change you. They're not going to recast you as something else, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I wouldn't think.
Although they have recast people in the major roles, but yeah, usually if you're cast as one thing, that you stay that thing. And I think that's probably true in Star Wars as well, because otherwise people would be like, why would Grand Admiral Thrawn look like, Galen Erso? Why would it be the same person?
Tamura Morrison is the exception to the rule because he is the template for clones.
Right, exactly.
So he's Jango and Boba now, and clones. And he plays everything in Star Wars now. Yeah, and he played Princess Leia in the claymation Rogue One.
Now he doesn't do the voice. That's a very funny joke. But he doesn't do the voices for the animated series, does he, Tamura Morrison? Or is it somebody else that does that?
It's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. No. But I think he might. I think he might be involved in that. I think I recall hearing that, but then again, it could have just been clickbait. But I'm pretty. He might have.
Now, does the Bad Batch all have the same voice, or does each of them have a different voice because they're all different? They're a Bad Batch.
I don't remember that. That's a good. Well, we'll find out on May 4th.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like we're gonna get that Bad Batch series, so we'll find out all about that, and that's gonna be the first kind of clone heavy series, really. I mean, I know the Clone Wars had lots of clones in them, but the clones weren't really the main characters in the Clone Wars.
Right. And I guess then the question is, which of the Ninja Turtles will he be playing in the Bad Batch? Which one? The Rambo Ninja Turtle? Donatello? Or
the Rambo is Raphael. Donatello is the gadget guy. And then maybe Rambo is supposed to be Leonardo. That could be it, because he's the leader.
There's a smart one with glasses.
Mm-hmm.
There. Oh well.
In other Star Wars news this weekend, really there's not a lot, but the big one seems to be about the Mandalorian. And a season 3 rumor teases the return of a fan favorite creature, and that creature is a Wookiee. So apparently there have been Wookiees on set of the season 3 of the Mandalorian, right?
They're already shooting that. Is that I'm surprised actually, because I figured they'd be deep into the book of Boba Fett at this point. I'd be shocked if they'd be done. How could they have written another season of the Mandalorian and already been shooting it? It just seems like it's a lot.
Yeah, you're right. It comes from the Bespin Bulletin.
Not that rag.
run by Lobot. It's his side project. He runs a little newsletter. He puts out the newsletter.
He's got a news feed on that. He's got a news feed on his cyborg head that runs across.
Yeah. But
X3.
So apparently, the links are not linking to the right place. But apparently, I have it right here. Bespin Bulletin on Instagram. Wookiee or Wookiees possibly appearing in the Mandalorian season 3. When will Mando begin filming? So it has not started filming yet. So I don't know what this is based off. It's just a rumor.
Yeah, it seems early to me, but I could be wrong. It could also be a different show in which Wookiees appear in the set, and that wouldn't be surprising.
I don't think it's surprising.
What makes this news?
Well, exactly, right? Like it's like Wookiees are, established part of the Star Wars universe. They're everywhere. We see them all over the place. Now, usually it's Chewbacca is the main one, obviously, but I don't think we're going to see Chewbacca. I think we're just going to see a group of Wookiees is what this is going to end up being.
You know what we're not going to see on The Mandalorian? This would be news. if they actually put one of those aliens that J.J. Abrams invented in the Mandalorian, because we have yet to see any of those appear anywhere other than J.J. Abrams' Star Wars film.
You mean like from Maz's castle? That scene?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I don't think we've seen nothing from outside that, have we?
No,
I don't think so. From in the Mandalorian or anywhere.
Yeah, or even any of those aliens from Jakku or any of those places, we haven't seen any of that stuff. So
not that off the top of my head, no. Though maybe somebody can prove me wrong, but no. And we've never seen the Dexter Jetster alien appear anywhere else. So I'm starting to wonder if he's one of a kind. You know how everybody is. Everyone's like, we don't know what species Yoda is.
Yes.
Nobody cares about what species Dexter Jetster might be. Jetster, sorry.
I think there is another one of his species because I think that there's a Jedi who is actually that species.
Oh.
Now I'm looking up Dexter Jetster here. He's called a basilisk. Basilisk? Okay, what's Wikipedia? Let's go to Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Speaking of Wookiees.
Let's get to the bottom of this.
Okay.
This would be a good episode of the Obi-Wan Mysteries. Where he goes around like the beginning of Attack of the Clones, where he's like Angela Lansbury for no reason, for like just part of one movie, where he's like, this kyber dot comes from cloners. Dexter, can you help me find the heart of these cloners? And he'd go, and that's when Dexter's dirty shirt makes its first appearance.
Oh yeah, there is a Jedi Knight called Pong Krell. And he is of the same species as Dexter Jetster. So there is a second one, but this is from the Clone Wars cartoon, not the movies. And the other thing is interesting. Actually, I saw this on TikTok. It's funny. Somebody pitched the idea of a Guy Fieri style diners, drive-ins, and dives show, but with Dexter Jetster. Dexter Jetster is the Guy Fieri of the Star Wars universe.
I love
he goes from restaurant to restaurant, testing other dishes and helping solve crimes.
I love it.
Let's do it.
Give me 13 episodes. Give me 13 episodes now.
Coming next to Disney Plus. Speaking of which, there is a real. It's interesting because I posted on our last episode on our Facebook page, our Facebook group, as we do. And if anybody's interested in joining our Facebook group, you can find it linked in the show notes below. And it was interesting. I got some comments from one of our community members, Aiden, who was talking about how he was, we were talking all about the Clone Wars cartoons and all that new stuff, the vintage Star Wars stuff coming to Disney Plus, and this wouldn't be a part of that. But he did say that he is looking forward to seeing Star Wars Detours come to Disney Plus, and I'm like, I don't know if that's going to happen. Like, I honestly at the time I thought, no, they're not going to bother with that. Yeah. Like, Detours was that series that Lucas was going to do with Seth Green. It was kind of based on, I think it was obviously based on the Robot Chicken episodes that he did, which were very funny kind of send-ups of Star Wars. But this was more like an official kind of goofy Star Wars, kind of similar to Lego, but for grown-ups, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So
it was a classic George Lucas move where everybody wanted like more movies and more serious stuff, and he's like, I got a cartoon that's wacky. And I think a cartoon that's wacky is more palatable when there's lots of other content around. And when there isn't, it's like, oh, how much time is this going to take? Like, when can we get back to the storyline? But I mean, we're not hurting for Star Wars content these days. So
yeah.
It might be a good time to release it.
Yeah, and it's just been sitting on a shelf for years. Since Disney bought Star Wars, they didn't really know what to do with it. And I thought it was just going to be like, no, we don't want this type of Star Wars brand out there. Like, it's goofy, it's parody, it's like, I mean, I'm going to say I don't like the art style. I think it reminds me of like the spitting image from the 80s. Remember those vinyl puppets they had that looked like caricatures? That's what it looks disturbing. Like to me. It's like a caricature of these characters, and it's not for me, I don't think. But I guess they are going to be releasing this. There's no confirmation yet, but it makes sense that they would go, if they've got the stuff sitting around, might as well throw it up on Disney Plus. And they've got a couple seasons of it. Apparently, they made like 40-ish episodes. They produced a lot of it before it was tanked.
Yeah, if they have it in the can, they might as well release it. I mean, I give it a shot and see if it's any good. If it's cutesy funny, then that's I don't know how much of that I could take. But if it's actually Simpsons level funny, then might be who knows? It might actually be good.
I mean, and to be fair, those Robot Chicken episodes are really funny. Like, anything they do with Star Wars on Robot Chicken is hilarious.
They're very clever, and they're clearly fans of the franchise because the jokes work and they're hilarious. So this could be great. It could be great. It could be way better. And I have a rich history of dismissing something and then later on going, it's pretty good actually. because my hopes are so low that when I see what I said there, so low, because my hopes are so low that when I actually go see Solo, I enjoy it because my hopes were so low.
Yes, that helps.
Yes.
For sure. So I think, I guess it will be coming at some point. And I guess, I'll also check it out and see if it's okay, but I'm not really looking forward to it. It's not really like, for one thing, I don't like the way they draw Darth Vader. He looks like this kind of wedge, like he's got these big broad shoulders and he looks kind of like I just don't like it. I don't like that style. I don't like the way they make Han Solo's nose super big. Like, I don't know. It's just stupid. It's all my personal issues with it. Like, I'm sure it's going to be fine, but it's not necessarily for me. So
I hate Chewbacca's bubble butt that they give him. I hate it.
Is that right?
I hate sand. It gets into everything and it's irritating. And the show has a lot of sand in it.
What else were we going to talk about again? I can't remember.
I think we were going to talk about whether Anakin hated sand before he realized he was from Tatooine. No, I'm just kidding.
He always hated sand. Come on.
He hated sand at birth. And then when he walked out the door one day and saw he was surrounded by sand, boy, you can imagine.
He's just born in the wrong place.
To his chagrin, he was on the worst planet.
Yeah.
To be a sand hater.
And he didn't even realize that other planets didn't have sand until he went.
That's right. When he went to the first water planet, you should have seen him. He was like a pig rolling around in shit. He was so happy.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
So, Kenton, Mother's Day is coming up.
Oh, yeah.
I found a list. This is from the Star Wars website, actually, starwars.com, of possible Mother's Day gifts for your Star Wars fan of a mother. Is your mom a Star Wars fan, Kenton?
I just like how you said, what did you say? Fan of a mother?
Fan of a Star Wars mother.
Because that would make me the son of a what? No, I'm just kidding.
Son of a Star Wars fan.
I have an answer for your question.
Yeah.
My mother loves puzzles.
Oh, okay.
If I were to get my mother like a 1,000 piece Star Wars puzzle, she'd be in. She'd do it.
Okay.
But I can't think of any other Star Wars based gift that would bring her joy.
Well, and I don't know that some of these are stretching, I think. But so one of these, I'm going to go through. My mom is not a Star Wars fan. So I don't think she would like any of this stuff. But some of this stuff I think they're stretching a bit. It's like one of them is the Child Shadow Palette from ColourPop Cosmetics. So this is a makeup palette. You know how you can buy those like palettes of like a bunch of different colors of makeup together? They're all supposed to go together. This is one based on the child of Baby Yoda. So it says cutest in the galaxy, and it's got all these kind of greens and browns and tans. I'm like, okay, I can't see my mom wearing that. Maybe somebody else's mom. We've got some great artwork. There's a great piece here from Princess Leia holding her lightsaber. You would actually like that. Can I share my screen so you can see this? I should do that so you can see this. Here we go.
We're at the time of year with being online where just sharing a screen seems like a hell of a lot of work.
It never works.
Let's see. Oh, that's awesome.
Like, it's a very cool kind of an image of Leia with her lightsaber, which we didn't get to see a lot of, right? Cool. There's this cool shirt, Best Mom in the Galaxy. That's
great.
But it shows Leia on it. Is Leia the best mom in the galaxy? Debatable.
Well, she's she's on a shirt that says mom on it. That's all you need.
But her son turned to the dark side and killed her husband. So I don't know if that works.
Before that all happened, he gave her that shirt.
Here's a cool one, a Star Wars Galactic Baking official cookbook of sweet and savory treats from Tatooine, Hoth, and beyond. And on the cover are these cool looking TIE Fighter s'mores. It looks like it's basically graham crackers mushed between the marshmallow in the middle, so it looks like a TIE Fighter.
Looks
That's
amazing.
Really cool. That's awesome.
I actually felt hungry looking at that. It looks amazing.
I once made you'll remember the Star Wars social that we had for FanQuest. And before that I made these little treats with Cheez-Its, those square crackers. So you cut a cube of cheese and you put it, you take Cheez Whiz and you stick the crackers to the sides and you make yourself little cheese and cracker TIE Fighters. It was really cool. Here's something. This is actually new. They have these new Lego helmets from Star Wars and other things as well. They have them for like you can buy an Iron Man one, or they have ones for like Venom and other Marvel characters. But this is a Darth Vader Lego helmet. Not sure why this would make a good mom and Mother's Day present.
Well, I guess because you put it on a shelf and it's like an ornament, like it's not something you have to.
Here's what the copy says. As a kid, you probably didn't appreciate her knack for probing questions or her commanding tone, but this buildable brick helmet is sure to have her saying, I have you now.
I don't know about that. I mean, I appreciate the copywriter who's working very hard here.
Rey Skywalker limited edition figurine from Ladro. This looks nice, but I don't think my mom would like it.
No.
I mean, this is it's a figure. It looks like a little statuette. It doesn't look like it's posable or anything, but you can see she's holding two lightsabers. One is the yellow one. That looks really yellow. I don't remember it being that yellow in the movie.
No.
That almost looks like urine colored. And I guess the other one's supposed to be Luke's lightsaber. Is that what that is? I don't know.
It doesn't really look like Rey very much either.
It doesn't. No, you're right. The likeness could be better. But this is meant to be like Rey from the end of the third movie. So
I think this one will have your mom saying, is this gift for me or for you?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
This is a Mother's Day pop-up card. Oh, that's nice. A little Mother's Day
nice. I like
card.
that. That's the best.
It's got a little Happy Mother's Day, and
Yeah.
it's got in the shape of hair, and then it pops up with some flowers and stuff. That's really cool.
That one, that's a go.
Mandalorian custom phone case. Well, I would like this. This one for sure. This one with the Mandalorian on it. This is the way, or expressions of the child.
That's good.
Okay. Oh, Lando.
What's this?
Lando Calrissian women's costume from Ruby's, because nothing says I love you, Mom, like giving her a costume of Lando Calrissian.
Like, okay, is it Halloween? Is it close to Halloween?
No, it's Mother's Day.
This is kind of weird.
It's in May, 6 months away from Halloween. And
I'm
this
sure
one
Lando never had pumps like that he wore with his outfit.
Right, he did not.
The pumps not included, I imagine.
Yeah, but the cape is there, and that's the important part.
That's no good.
This is an Ahsoka t-shirt. You don't have to look tough to be tough, and it's got a little cartoony Ahsoka on it. But again, Ahsoka should have two lightsabers, and they should both be white. This one has a blue lightsaber. Did she have
holding once again? She's holding one that's not lit.
Oh, that's right. I didn't see that part. Okay, you're right. Excellent. And
but it's also I don't know. It's cutesy. It reminds me of the new Ghostbusters trailer or snippet has got those little Stay Puft mini marshmallow men.
Yes.
And it's kind of like the same idea.
Yes.
Like, oh, they're kind of cute, but they're vicious.
I saw a video of Bill Murray and Ivan Reitman reacting to that video.
Oh yeah,
and they seem to like it, so that's good. That's good to see that. And Bill Murray's like, that's the right tone, right? Like he's like, I'm like, oh, okay, that's good to hear.
They're sideways talking about the last Ghostbusters that had the wrong tone.
That's right.
That's what they're really talking about.
And that's it. That's all we got for Mother's Day. Ahsoka Tano. I'm gonna get my mom the Lando Calrissian costume.
Yes, I'm getting my mom the card, which I think is the nicest thing on here. Everything else is kind of stretching it. But once again, I appreciate the copywriter whose job it was to make this somehow fit Mother's Day when there's really only a few things here that would kind of fit the bill.
To make this somehow fit Mother's Day. And then you can go down here and you can find all the link to they have ones for St. Patrick's Day. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, Halloween. They like tying it into all the holidays. Here we go.
That's great. Can you imagine? Good news, Mom. I'm not taking you to dinner. I did not buy you any jewelry to wear. What did you get me? A Lando costume and a Leia card.
We can reenact the scene from Cloud City. You can be Lando. I'll be Leia. And you can just tell me about how you've got the Empire off your back forever.
Where's the Mother's Day Lobot costume? The classic. How many Lobot jokes can we tell in a podcast?
As many as possible.
I think maybe we should have a whole podcast dedicated to Lobot and just get it out of our system.
Sure, we can do that. That's actually not a bad idea. Like, I mean, Lobot is kind of a joke, but even like a deep dive into some of these side characters, I wouldn't mind exploring a little bit more about them. Like, I honestly, I don't really know much about Lobot, to be honest. As much as we joke about him, I don't really know anything about him. I don't know his background. I don't know why he has the attachment on his head.
I know he had a lobotomy, and then his nickname became Lobot. I know that.
Nickname ever.
And I also know that he has a fine taste in dress slacks. But apart from that, and we also know that Lando can activate his headgear on his watch with his Apple Watch. Yeah. With his Tim Cook Tim Cook can activate Lobot with his Apple Watch. Yeah.
All right. So have you gotten out to the stores at all? Look for some Star Wars toys.
Boy, things are. I have not got my vaccine yet, and you're getting yours next week. Did you say?
I got mine already.
No, you got yours. Oh yeah. How was it?
It was a shot in the arm.
Very good.
I had mild side effects, like as far as like chills and fever and that kind of stuff, but that's normal. Like honestly, it's not anything to sweat over. I know you don't care. You're not afraid of the shot.
No, I care.
Oh, do you?
I care. I'm getting mine in a week and a half or something, I don't know, something like the May something. First week of May, I'm getting it. Except I held out for the Pfizer. Ooh, Pfizer. I didn't go for that AstraZeneca crap.
That's what I got.
It came out of the dirty factory somewhere.
From now on, I'm going to sort people by what kind of shot they got. Whenever I divide the class into sections, I'm just going to say, okay, all the Pfizer's over here, all the Moderna's over here, but there's going to be mostly Pfizer and Moderna, I think. There's not going to be very many AstraZeneca, especially among our students because they're not allowed to get it.
Right, they're not allowed yet. Although did you see they expanded it to 18 plus in certain neighborhoods today?
Sure, but not for AstraZeneca. Yeah. AstraZeneca is still 40 and up because it's not safe, apparently.
Right, because and really, I wanted a guarantee that the thing would kill me before I had it put into me, just to put me out of my misery. And nobody could guarantee me that. So I'm like, that's it. I'm waiting for Pfizer. I'm waiting for the one that brought down Kong and Godzilla in the film. Which one is that?
Neither.
That'd be funny that'd be a good punchline to the film. They go Godzilla and Kong eat the factory and then drop dead of blood clots.
While we're on this topic, I just want to mention that, and I know a couple of weeks ago I recommended the TV show. I'm blanking on the name right now. The Apple TV Plus. For All Mankind, which is about the space program. And it's interesting because there's a shot there's one scene that takes place in the 60s, but there's a shot in a doctor's office and there's a poster on the wall saying, "Get your vaccine," which is funny because it's the 60s and they're talking about like the flu vaccine or something like that. But that was a big thing. Like in the 60s, they were really pushing vaccines as this new thing that people could do. And then, of course, now we want people to get their vaccine as well. So I thought that was kind of a nice, and it was deliberate. It had to be deliberate because the show was made during the pandemic. So they definitely were thinking about that when they made that joke.
I've seen a few things like that have aged well because they predicted a dystopian future with disease running rampant and people wearing face masks. I can't remember the name. I played a couple of video games.
Johnny Mnemonic predicted it. There's a scene in Johnny Mnemonic, which actually, by the way, that movie takes place in 2021. And there's a scene at the very beginning where you see him getting out of a car and there's a crowd of protesters and they're all wearing masks. They're all wearing white masks like we do now. Because at the time, I don't remember what it was. There was some kind of virus going around at the time in Johnny Mnemonic in that movie, which is not a great movie, but it is historically accurate to a certain degree. So there you go. Anyway,
very good.
We should wrap things up. We stopped talking about Star Wars like 10 minutes.
You asked me if I've noticed anything, and the answer is I haven't got my vaccine yet, and therefore I have not been anywhere. I have not. I've barely ventured from the house, and plus the COVID and the COVID numbers are spiking here again. So it's kind of like, well, until you get the old vaccine, might as well get the vaccine before you venture forth.
All right, so we'll check back in a few weeks and we'll hopefully both get out and check out what's on these shelves. Until that time, that's going to do for this episode of the Star Wars Nerds. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
I'm Kenton Larson. Don't let the Force hit you on the ass.
They got power converters.
That's no moon.
We're all fine here now, thank you.